Welcome back to the Nuckhead podcast. Man, it's been a while since I've made one of these. I think the last episode came out before the Canucks season ended, so that would have been sometime in April or even late March. Geez, yeah. It's been a while, and we have a lot to talk about. So I asked you guys to send me all of your thoughts, your hot takes, your predictions related to the upcoming Canucks season, and that's what I'll be responding to in this episode. But first, in case you missed it in yesterday's main channel video, Fridays are going to be the new day podcast episodes get released. It used to be Thursday, but now it's Friday. And also, my regular content, the game recaps you've come to know me for, those are going to be coming out every Wednesday, except for when the Canucks play on Wednesdays. When that happens, I'll push the video to Thursday. Also, I have a brand new series I'm going to be doing on the main channel with new episodes coming out on Sundays, and the first one will be coming out this Sunday at 3 p.m. All right, let's talk Nucks. All right, so there's a lot to talk about. We've got a new head coach, Rick Tocchet, just up and left at the end of last season. Evander Kane is wearing a Canucks jersey now, which is interesting. We drafted a player that I'm super excited for, Braeden Cootes, in the first round of this year's draft. So yeah, I asked you guys to send me all your thoughts related to the Canucks' upcoming season, and you came through. I've got a lot to respond to here, so let's get started. This one comes from @MattEHag9539, and they're asking, is this the most important season in Canucks history? Man, I mean, this is a good question, because the answer might be yes, or at least maybe. For those who don't know, the reason this question's being asked, or at least I assume the reason this question's being asked, has to do with some comments that Quinn Hughes made in an interview with Elliotte Friedman over the summer. When asked if the Canucks have a chance of re-signing him, he basically said, maybe, which is not what we want to hear, obviously. He said, more specifically, and I'm paraphrasing here, he said, it kind of depends on how the next two seasons go. If we have a great year or a great season this year, that'll have a big impact on his decision. So the question being, is this the most important season in Canucks history? Because if it doesn't go well, I mean, we could lose Quinn Hughes. I don't even like entertaining that thought, okay? The answer could be yes. The only reason I'm saying maybe is because if we have an amazing season this year, let's say round 3 or Stanley Cup final or whatever, and Quinn doesn't re-sign in the summer, he still has another season after that, which would make next season the most important season. So yeah, I'm going to say, is this the most important season in Canucks history? I'm going to say maybe. This one is from @Zanov_71, who is a channel member, by the way, so shout out to you. They said, I think if we get away from any injuries or drama in the locker room and get a good start to generate confidence, we're a pretty good team. Yeah, I mean, last year was such a mess right out the gates. I mean, we didn't have Demko to start the season. Joshua was out to start the season. And then as soon as those guys got back, they were all, like, I think Hronek was out at that point. Besser had his concussion. If there's no injuries, that's ideal. There are going to be injuries, though. I just hope none of the main guys get injured. Last year, we dealt with Pettersson getting injured, Hughes getting injured, Hronek, Demko, Besser, Joshua. So yeah, I hope we don't have to deal with that either. From @Demko Enthusiast, the Canucks forward core isn't 10% as bad as people make it out to be, and anyone who thinks so doesn't know puck. Example, Oilers fans. Damn, okay. Shots fired. First of all, I don't think anything is as bad as people make it out to be across the board, like in the world. I think everyone exaggerates everything. Now, in this market, it tends to lean toward the negative. Any chance there's something to complain about, people jump on it and complain about it. And right now, the Canucks forward core, for the people who assume that Pettersson isn't going to snap back to form, it looks weak, right? But I'm not like that. We're not like that. We see it as, Pettersson is a 100-point player. When he was only 24 when he got 100 points, and he's only 26 now. And if you Google what is the average prime age for hockey players, the answer you're going to get is around 27 to 29. So, it's different for everybody, but Pettersson isn't even 27 yet. To think that he's already had his best season and he's already had his worst season before even hitting 27, like of course it's possible, but it's just so unlikely. He would have to be such an anomalous player for that to to happen. But anyways, look, I think Pettersson's going to snap back to form. Obviously, Chytil is a question mark. Not only his health, but can he carry a second line, right? I have hope that he can, and all the reports from training camp so far, I mean, this obviously it's training camp, but they're saying he looks good. He recovered from his injury at the end of last season, so he had a full summer of training, and apparently, you can tell. So I don't know. We'll have to see. From Poppy Seed, Canucks win the President's Trophy. I guess that's a hot take. From Van YSH or Vanish, I have the Canucks finishing third in the division. Pettersson is going to kick ass, and the Hogfather is going to rack up some goals. Yeah, I mean, I've been reading and watching as many Canucks season previews as I possibly can, and the majority of the predictions I've been seeing have the Canucks either finishing third or fourth in the Pacific Division, which, I'm cool with third. I don't love fourth. If you're curious about where I think they're going to finish, go watch the video I posted on the main channel yesterday. But yeah, I mean, look, Petey going to kick ass? Yeah, I don't even know, is that a hot take at this point? Because I agree so wholeheartedly. Pettersson is going to be Pettersson again. How could he not be, right? I mean, can someone really just lose everything that they've worked toward for their whole entire life in the span of just a couple months? Because really, he was playing incredibly all throughout the 23-24 season, and then it was just in around January or February of 2024 when he just took a steep drop-off and hasn't really bounced back since. So if someone can just snap their fingers and lose all of their talent, that's terrifying, first of all. And second of all, I just don't think that's possible. And then as for Nils Höglander, or as you called him, the Hogfather, we've already seen him score 20-plus goals. Can he do it again, or is he one of those players that only does that once? I think, based on watching him play, and you could argue that I'm a little biased here, I think he has the tools. I think he is a 20-goal scorer. At worst, maybe a 15-goal scorer for his career, but I think he's got a lot more to give. He works so hard, and that is, to me, enough to think he's going to figure it out. So, yeah, I agree. He's going to rack up some goals. RIP my vocal cords. From Robbie, Canucks finished third in the division. Pettersson, Kane, DeBrusk, Besser, Chytil, Garland, and Hughes all scored 20-plus goals. Okay, wait. Pettersson, yeah, 20-plus goals. I think so as well. Kane, yeah. Evander Kane, 20-plus. That makes sense. DeBrusk, yes. Besser, yes. Chytil, I'm going to go with yes. Garland, yeah. And then Hughes. Honestly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that would be a Canucks record. If all 7 of those players score 20-plus goals in the same season, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure that would set a record. It sounds crazy, but I kind of agree with that. From @SourLemons33, Canucks finished third in the division, and Big Hog, Garley, Doc, or Drew O'Connor, Kane, Chytil all score 20-plus goals. Okay, wait a minute. Robbie said Pettersson, Kane, DeBrusk, Besser, Chytil, Garland, and Hughes. And now @SourLemons33 is adding on, I guess, just Drew O'Connor. Can Drew O'Connor score 20-plus goals? I mean, it depends where he's utilized in the lineup. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not going to agree with that one, but the other one is a hot take I can get behind, honestly. From @Lorenzo Deponio 6885, EP40 will have a slow start to the season, but by mid-December, he'll be back to peak form. I think he's still getting over the drama that he had to deal with last year, and that could affect his start. First of all, okay, I disagree, because I don't think he's going to get off to a slow start. But if he were to get off to a slow start, I kind of think that's bad. I mean, that's obvious, but he can't get off to a slow start because everything is pointing toward him just stepping on that ice and kicking ass right away. I mean, I've been hearing he's gotten in better shape. He got married over the summer, which I know that doesn't matter, but I don't know, it adds some stability in his life, and he's probably pretty happy about it, I would hope. And yeah, Miller's gone. Miller's the captain of a different team now. No one's really talking about that anymore. They're talking about Hughes' contract for some reason. If Petey doesn't get off to a good start, I'd be really worried. So I disagree, but I appreciate the take. From @AkashTX3IN, Pettersson proves he's the best player on the team by month 3, and Kane becomes a fan favorite. Okay, this I can get behind. Pettersson proving he's the best player on the team by month 3, maybe not so much just because Quinn Hughes exists, but Petey proving that he's still Petey, I can get behind. And then Kane becoming a fan favorite, I mean, look, it's one or the other. And they're pretty polar extremes in my opinion. I think either, he starts off strong, he scores, he hits, he fights, he does everything that we want him to do. And I mean, just naturally, if you do those three things, the fans are going to love you. Or his age has caught up to him. He doesn't find any chemistry with whoever he ends up playing with, and he struggles. In which case, I think the narrative around him would just be, why did we get him? This is $5 million we could have spent elsewhere. It'll be messy. So I think it's either fan favorite or hated player. And I'm leaning towards fan favorite just because I know he didn't play all of last season, regular season that is. He came back for the playoffs. He was good in the playoffs. I know he struggled in the final, but I don't know. If you don't play for an entire year and then you come into such a high intensity situation like playoff hockey and you still manage to be a difference maker, even on the occasional night, right? I think he's going to be good. I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, Pettersson proving he's the best player on the team by month 3 and Kane becoming a fan favorite. I can agree. With the asterisk on, Quinn Hughes exists, so I don't know if Pettersson is going to prove he's better than that. Maybe he does. I don't know. Okay, this one's from someone named Connor Dever. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, and it's actually an audio message, so let's listen.
Hey Nuckhead, love the channel. Fairly new to hockey, so if this question's stupid, just ignore it. Blaze past, I know more about rugby. I'm wondering about whether you think there'd be any merit to pairing Brock Besser with Filip Chytil on the second line. I understand that Brock Besser is, offensively speaking, our top talent, and that's why I think we should be using that talent to kind of, complement Chytil's kind of struggles in the finishing department. Because from what I've seen, he's very good at getting zone entries, kind of reminiscent of Pettersson from a few years back when he was on the cook. So I'm wondering now that we've got Kane as well to play around with, any merit in that? And again, this could be pure ramblings of an idiot, but whatever you think. Cheers, and keep plugging away on the channel. It's actually been great to watch.
That's a good question. I mean, I think the gut instinct is to put Besser on the first line with Pettersson. Not only were they showing signs of having some pretty good chemistry at the end of last season, but he's our best scoring winger. So you want him to be playing as much as possible and with the best players possible. But I think there is an argument to be made that spreading some of the talent throughout the lineup would be beneficial, especially because there's so many ifs with this forward group right now. It's not weak, but it is the weakest part of the team. And we don't know, is Chytil going to be a second line center? Is Pettersson going to snap back to form? How's Kane going to fit in? Is Höglander going to play in the top 6 or the bottom 6? So I would understand putting Besser down. I guess, so what would the first line be if Besser's playing on the second line with Chytil? You'd either go DeBrusk, Pettersson, Kane, or DeBrusk, Pettersson, Höglander, or you do something a little different and go DeBrusk, Pettersson, Lekkerimaki, or Linus Karlsson. I don't know. I mean, I've been looking at this roster all summer, trying to figure out what Adam Foote might do with this lineup, and I just don't know with the forwards. It's going to be there's only one lock, and that's Pettersson as the first line center. I wouldn't even say that DeBrusk is for sure going to be on his left side. They might want to try Kane there. So I don't know. And thank you for sending in an audio message. Those are my favorite. If you want to send one in for the next time I do this, the email you send it to is nuckhead.viewers@gmail.com. Okay, this one's from @NathanT0263. They said Chytil scores 70 points, which blows past his career high of 45. One thing I can agree on for sure, assuming he stays healthy, is Chytil beating his career high this year. I mean, 45 points. I just feel if he stays healthy and he's playing second line center all season, or at least for 3/4 of the season, I don't see how he finishes with lower than 45 points. And he's going to be given so many offensive opportunities that I just think he's too talented to not beat that. So I agree with that part. Will he score 70 though? I don't know. I really don't know. I like the take though. I think if I was going to guess exactly what Chytil gets or what I'd be happy with is somewhere in the 60s. Like 61 points for Chytil would be beautiful. This one's from @JustLetMeFail. I feel overall pretty hopeful for this year as opposed to last year, but I'm very concerned about what happens when Chytil gets injured and the Canucks just don't have dedicated NHL centermen available. I mentioned this in the video I posted yesterday, but you're right. If Chytil does go down with an injury, knock on wood, it's going to be bad because there isn't really a viable replacement for him right now. Last year we had Pius Suter, who at the time honestly didn't really feel like the best option for a second line center. And at one point he played first line center when Pettersson was injured, but he stepped up and he played super well and earned himself a huge contract with the Blues this season. So good for him, but we don't have him now. So if Chytil goes down, our options are pretty thin. It's Teddy Bluger, it's Atu Ratu, it's Max Sasson, Nils Oman. It's a problem, and Chytil's been fairly injury prone for his entire career. So I don't know if I'm going to go this far, but this year is a version of a make or break season for him, I think, just as an NHL player in general, because he has the talent. He's fast, he's good with the puck, he's smart with it too. But if he keeps getting injured, I don't want to entertain that too much, but I do agree with you that is probably my biggest concern is the depth at the center position right now. From @Stool, Conor Garland, this is in all caps, Conor Garland will have an 80-point season because he is a majestic king. Change my mind. First of all, I'm not going to change your mind. You seem pretty set on this opinion, and I respect it. I do disagree, though. I don't think he's ever passed 60 points even. Let me check. Yeah, his best season was 52 the first year he was with the Canucks. He had 50 points last year. I think maybe 60 points is reasonable to expect from him. But honestly, out of everybody on the team, Conor Garland is probably the player I'm least worried about. And that includes Quinn Hughes because his whole contract situation is making me feel a little stressed. But no, Conor Garland, especially because he just signed a long-term deal over the summer, I'm not worried about him. What you see is what you get. He gives it his all every single night. I don't need him to get 80 points, okay? 50 points, 60 points, that is beautiful. So, yeah. From @Matthew Lang 4127, Braeden Cootes will make his NHL debut towards the end of the season. You know what? I disagree, but for a fun reason. I think if Braeden Cootes makes the NHL this year, it's going to be straight out of training camp. Game 1 of the season. Honestly, I mean, he's looked so good. And I know we're only 2 preseason games in, so, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but if he makes the team, I think it's more likely to be straight out of training camp. From @Steel_Tiger_8852, Lekkerimaki will have a great year and become a regular on the team and score 7+ goals during the season. What? 7+ goals? 7. A great year, and he's going to score 7? Did you mean 70? But that's just as ridiculous. Lekkerimaki will have a great year and become a regular on the team and score 7+ goals during the season. I agree that he'll probably score over 7 goals this season, but I don't know if I would consider that a great year unless he has like 60 assists. Okay, from @QuinnHughes Wannabe, do you think Lekkerimaki is on the opening night roster for the Nucks? I don't know. I kind of think that's Linus Karlsson's spot to lose right now. I don't think Lekkerimaki has done enough to show that he's ready to play in the NHL, especially because you don't want him playing on the 4th line. You'd at least want him on the 3rd line, but most likely you'd want him playing on the 2nd or 1st with Chytil or Pettersson because he's that type of player. He's a goal scorer, right? That's why I think Karlsson is probably going to get that spot just because he can play up and down the lineup, and I don't think it really makes a difference for him. The other player I could see getting that spot, and I actually might have them a bit higher than Lekkerimaki right now, not on the how good they're going to be scale, but just on the likelihood of them getting the spot, is Vilmer Ulriksson. He could be a player the Canucks might want to try out for game 1. I really could see that. But, again, I think that's Linus Karlsson's spot. So no, I don't think Lekkerimaki is going to be on the opening night roster. I'd love for him to be, but I don't really see it happening. I think he'll probably have to earn that spot and get called up at some point during the season. From @Lucas Bartolozzi, do you think Willander will play well or flop? I don't think Willander's going to make the team. Based on training camp and the first 2 games of the preseason, which I know is premature, he's played well, but Mancini has played better, and so has DPD. I kind of think he's going to start in Abbotsford, and I think he's going to crush it down there. So I guess my answer is I think he's going to play well just in Abbotsford, at least to start the season. From @NicholasPlum3948, by the end of November, Hughes will be paired with Mancini, with Hronik being paired with MP3 to spread out the offense on the back end. I mean, Mancini has to make the team first in order for that to happen. Right now, he's on the outside looking in. So, I don't know. Like, that right side spot on the third pairing is DPD's right now. I think that's for sure, honestly. Well, not for sure, but I think it's DPD's spot to lose. Especially, like, as long as Forbort's here, DPD's getting that spot, I think. What I could see happening is at some point during the season, the team looks at that third pair and says, you know what, I think DPD's ready to take that left side spot. We can move off of Forbort, trade him away for, some draft pick at the deadline, and then call up either Willander or Mancini. That I could see happening. In fact, I would bet on that happening. But what you said, by the end of November, Hughes will be paired with Mancini. I don't know. I mean, stranger things have happened. I don't know. From @Nisey Productions 34, do you think Quinn Hughes will be traded? Not this year. Another one from @Lucas Bartolozzi. Do you think Demko can stay healthy? And if so, do you think that makes us contenders? Well, if you mean playoff contenders, yes. In fact, I think even if Demko doesn't stay healthy, I'd consider us playoff contenders. Just because, last year we missed the playoffs by how many points? And we didn't have Demko like all season. So yes to playoff contenders. But if you mean Stanley Cup contenders, I think there are a lot more questions that need answering than just Demko's health for me to say Stanley Cup contenders. So I'll say kinda. From @Squinky1349, we should have kept Shilovs and Lankinen and traded Demko instead of re-signing him to an extension. I disagree with this so strongly I could scream. Demko is too good. At one point, okay, I don't know if I said this on the podcast, and if I did, then I'm going to sound stupid, but at one point, that idea did sound interesting to me, but I don't think it would have been smart. Lankinen had an incredible season last year, but we really don't know for sure that he's that good, right? Demko, we do know for sure that he's that good. I know, like, his health and all that, that's a worry, but we already know, capital KNOW, we know Demko is really, really good. And when you're trying to build a team that is going to go deep in the playoffs and make Quinn Hughes happy, you got to go with what you know. So signing Demko to only a 3-year deal, I think was so important and so smart. And I was on the Shilovs hype train as well. I didn't want him to go. I really, really enjoyed him as a player, but I think they made the right call. So I disagree. Sorry, Squinky. From @LaneLuke, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's my best try. Which player do you think the Canucks are most likely to go after via trade this season, if any? That's a hard question because it so depends on how well they're doing at the trade deadline. I think right now I would narrow it down to a center. And in terms of which center, I have no clue. Maybe Mason McTavish. But chances are by the deadline he'll have re-signed with the Ducks or been traded elsewhere. So somebody on an expiring contract. I think if the Canucks are in a good position by the trade deadline and the center spot is still a bit of a question mark, then I could see them trading for some center that has a year left on their deal or maybe more. I don't know. I can't answer that. From @KaiKnuckle, what are your thoughts on Evander Kane regarding us getting a controversial player after the Miller situation? Okay, well, my first reaction to the news was confusion. I won't lie. I did not see that coming whatsoever. But, I think, I don't know. I really don't know. That's kind of my answer. I truly don't know. I think, looking at his attributes as a hockey player, he's tough. He's got a nose for the net. He's got good hockey IQ. He's got a great shot. From a business standpoint, it's $5 million, but only for 1 year, it's pretty risk-free. And then, the off-ice stuff, I truly just don't know. I didn't hear of any issues coming up when he was with Edmonton, and that's a good sign, but obviously, that could just mean he meshed well with that locker room, right? JT Miller is a great player, and I loved him on the Canucks, but his personality, his intensity could rub people the wrong way at some points. And that is what I think, in my opinion at least, what started the whole thing last year. Not saying it was his fault or anything, but anyways, the point is, if he's like, Miller, assuming he's in a good situation now with the Rangers, that might not be a problem over there. So Kane, just because he was in a good situation with Edmonton doesn't mean he'll be in a good situation with the Canucks. So I just don't know. I don't know. The answer is I don't know. Okay. From @OrcaGang, thoughts on JT Miller as the new Rangers captain? Should we be worried about grit from the Canucks this year without JT? Okay, first of all, I don't think we should be worried about grit. We still have Kiefer Sherwood. We have Evander Kane now. If Linus Karlsson makes the team, he's gritty as hell. Even though he's small, Conor Garland is gritty as hell. Nils Höglander is gritty as hell. I think you mean like tough, though, like big toughness. No, I'm not worried about it, truly. I think Evander Kane has the same amount of grit that JT did. Obviously not the same amount of skill or impact, but in terms of like, sticking up for your teammates or laying a big hit, Evander Kane can bring that to the team. So I'm not really worried about grit. As for my thoughts on JT Miller being named captain of the Rangers, I think it makes sense, honestly. I mean, he has all the qualities you'd want in a captain. The only weird part, I guess, would be that he's so new to the team. But I wouldn't be surprised if they ran the idea by some of the Rangers veterans before making the decision, like Zibanejad and Panarin and Trocheck. And I'm sure they signed off on it. I don't think they all heard the news and were like, what? So yeah, I don't know. My thoughts on it are cool. Good job. From @LoganSchultz8549, what's the long-term plan for the Nucks roster? Oh, man. You're asking me? I don't know. I think the closest I could get to answering that is just saying how excited I am about Braeden Cootes, because regardless of all the question marks and drama surrounding Quinn Hughes and his future with the team, one thing we do know is that the Canucks at some point will have Elias Pettersson in his prime playing in front of Braeden Cootes at like 21. 3 years from now, Pettersson will be 29 and Cootes will be 21. That could be your first and second line centers. Like, that's exciting to me. So past that, I don't know. I don't even know what my long-term plan is. So I don't know. From Zach Jacobson, if you could bring back one former Canuck in their prime to play on today's roster, who would it be? That's a great question. We need centers, so I'm going to say Ryan Kesler. I think Ryan Kesler in his prime on this team, the year he got the 2010-2011 season when he got 41 goals, that year, that version of Ryan Kesler, give him to me. Put him on the second line. That's what I want. From @TaylorColbeck7214, do you think the Canucks tickets are priced fair or overpriced? I actually don't have an opinion on that off the top of my head. Let's go look at the prices. I'm curious. Let's see here. Single game tickets. Okay. Opening night. Let's see how much they're charging here. Section 114, lower bowl. $300. I mean, you're asking the wrong guy, because I'm such a huge fan of this team that I would pay that. I have paid that many times. So, well, okay, let's pick another team. What's a fair comparison? Let's see what the Oilers are charging for their home opener. In the same section, same seats, $500. What? Okay, wait. Did I do that right? Okay, the exact same seat in the stadium in Vancouver is $300, and in Edmonton it's $510. Both home openers. Let's see the Rangers. For the exact same seat, the Rangers price is $343. Let's think. Let's go Winnipeg. Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg is $300 as well. Look, based on what I just learned, I think the Canucks tickets are fairly priced. I'm extremely biased. I'm a huge fan. I made a YouTube channel covering them. I'm not the guy to ask. I'd pay a lot of money to see them. But compared to some of those other prices, like Edmonton, $500 for the exact same seats, that's ridiculous. So my answer is, again, kind of, I don't know. I mean, don't ask me. That's my answer. All right, well, that's it for this episode. I appreciate you guys listening, and thank you for being patient with me. I know it's been a while since I've made one of these. Yeah, we're back. Nuckhead Season 3 has officially started. Game recaps coming out every Wednesday, except for when the Canucks play on Wednesday, in which case the video will come out on Thursday. New episodes of the podcast on Fridays, and then a brand new series on the main channel will be launching this Sunday. So, yeah, it should be a fun year. Bye.